She was a devoted mother, a hard worker, quiet, kind, and just beginning to rediscover her independence after years of living for everyone but herself. But on one of the rare nights she chose to go out and enjoy life. She never came back. This is the heartbreaking story of Jociele de Jesus Abreu, a 31-year-old woman whose life was brutally cut short on a quiet street in Arapoti, Paraná, Brazil. Hola, hello, and welcome to Blood and Samba, your weekly dive into Brazil's most shocking and mysterious true crime cases. If this is your type of content, please consider liking and subscribing, as we have the wildest cases coming out of Brazil. Jociele was only 31 when the unthinkable happened in August 2024. She was described by family as deeply loving and committed, both to her job and to her daughter, who was just 7 years old at the time. A production assistant at a medical supply company in Arapoti, Jociele worked long, exhausting hours, often until 2 a.m. She lived modestly with her daughter in a small house behind her parents' home. They were incredibly close. Her parents, her daughter, her cousin, these were her people. Her cousin, who grew up right next door, remembers her as quiet and reserved. Jociele hadn't had much of a social life. She got married young, became a mother early, and had spent most of her adult life working and caring for others. It wasn't until her recent divorce that she began stepping out, just on Saturdays, going to dinner with her cousin or sister. Nothing wild. Just simple nights out. But they brought her joy. Even then, she rarely went out. Sundays were for rest, and any money she had went to her daughter. Despite struggling with asthma and bronchitis, Jociele was fiercely committed to her job. She never missed a shift, her cousin said. She always said, "I have a daughter to raise." Her biggest dream? To study and build a better life for her little girl. Saturday, August 17, 2024 started like any other rare night out. Jociele invited her sister and a friend to dinner, but both cancelled. Still, she was dressed and ready. So she told her parents she'd go out anyway. It wouldn't be long. But that night, she didn't come home. And she never would. Her family became worried immediately. Jociele was not the kind of person to disappear. She didn't go out late, and she always checked in. By Monday morning, August 19th, they filed a missing persons report. That same afternoon, devastating news came in. A woman's body had been found in a wooded area along Moises Lupian Street, a well-known, but poorly lit path used by pedestrians. It was Jociele. Now, before we talk about what happened, let's rewind to 2010 and take a closer look at how a series of failures, and Brazil's weak justice system, put Jociele and her killer on the same path that tragic night. So, who was the man behind it all? Juliano Constantino, infamously known as the Cemetery Predator, was a convicted sex offender in 2010. He should have remained behind bars, but due to systemic shortcomings, he was eventually released. That decision would prove fatal, because in 2024, Juliano would strike again. This time, his victim was a woman named Jociele de Jesus Abreu. Footage showed Jociele walking alone around 12:15 a.m., headed toward downtown Arapoti. Moments later, a man in a red shirt, carrying a cane and walking a dog, appears. He notices her, then changes direction, and begins following her. She clearly sensed danger. She tried to speed up. She tried to speak with him, to get near a busier area. But before she could reach safety, he grabbed her in a chokehold and dragged her off the road into a wooded ditch. She screamed. Her desperate cries were captured on nearby cameras. And then, silence. Just seconds later, a car drove by. But it was too late. 29 minutes later, only one person emerged from the woods. The man. Walking his dog. As if nothing had happened. when Jociele's body was found. The scene was horrific. Jociele's upper clothes were torn. Her underwear was missing. Her body showed clear signs of sexual assault. Her legs were spread. Her neck bore the marks of strangulation. Her face and jaw were bruised. Her belongings were gone. Police suspected sexual violence immediately. Sadly, the suspicion was confirmed. Worse yet, the autopsy suggested she may have been assaulted before, during, and possibly even after death. Surveillance cameras from the area offered critical answers. Police quickly identified the suspect as Juliano Constantino, 33 years old. A drifter. A known figure in Arapoti. And no stranger to violence. He had a criminal history that sent chills through the community. Juliano was known as the cemetery predator. In 2010, he assaulted a young girl in a cemetery in nearby Wentzlau Braz. The attack happened as the girl walked to a town festival. Juliano dragged her into the graveyard. The case made headlines, and a video of Juliano's arrest showed him expressing remorse, blaming his actions on anger over his father's death. But remorse didn't stop him. Juliano had a pattern. 2 other reports of similar crimes followed. He served time. But when he got out, he returned to the streets. He was seen again in Arapoti, asking for food and help from locals and social services. Now, he had taken another life. Juliano Constantino was arrested on August 20th. Jociele's story is one of sacrifice, quiet strength, and a mother's love. She worked long nights. She fought through illness. She dreamed only of giving her daughter a better life. And in a moment when she finally chose to enjoy herself, just for a night, her life was stolen in the most brutal way. As we remember Jociele, we also ask, how many more women like her will be silenced before real change happens?